Hi, I'm Jim Fager with the Greater Louisville Education Cooperative. Joining me today is Dana Collins. Dana is Assistant General Counsel for ECE with Jefferson County Public Schools. Hi, Dana.
Good morning.
Hello. So, Dana, let's take a few minutes today and talk about meaningful ARC input. When we talk about meaningful participation in an ARC, what does that look like?
Meaningful participation means that we have input from all members of an ARC. Sometimes when I attend ARC meetings, I see a conversation between an IC and a parent. And while it is very important to have parent participation, it's also important to have participation of all members, including district staff.
I see. So it sounds like what we're trying to do is show a difference then between, say, running a meeting and facilitating a conversation. Why is that distinction so important?
In running a meeting, Jim, it's usually going through an agenda and checking some boxes. Yes, we covered that. Yes, we covered that. It's one person dictating what is being said and running the meeting. In facilitating a meeting and making sure that everyone has meaningful participation, we are giving the members the opportunity to speak and we are encouraging them to have informed decision making. So we are encouraging that group dynamic.
I see. You've told me before, as a whole, JCPS has made great strides, say, supporting parent input with ARCs. And we know that's a real critical lens. It's a priority within the regulations for good reason. So tell us about that, the great strides we've made with parental input.
Yes, we get an A+ for parent participation, and that is absolutely the most important. And from the meetings that I attend, I have observed that ICs are doing an excellent job at asking questions of the parent, making sure parents understand, asking periodically if they have concerns about a particular topic, and we have made great strides in that area.
That's good to hear. But I can't help but wonder, though, if there are other members of the ARC that may not be having that same opportunity, maybe to speak. I'm wondering, are there other members of the ARC that, say, don't offer input during an ARC meeting? And if so, why do you suppose that occurs?
I think there are a couple of reasons people don't speak up. One, if I'm at a meeting, it usually means that a parent has hired an attorney and there's some sort of litigation or contentious situation going on. And that makes people nervous and they're worried about liability. Second reason is they think the decision we make today doesn't have anything to do with me or my area of expertise. So I think there are a couple of reasons people don't speak up.
Okay, then what do you wish you could say to these ARC members before a meeting to address these factors?
I would say trust your expertise, trust the process. You are there for a reason. All of the members are there for a reason. All of these participants have some, uh, either they work with the student, and it's important to talk a little bit about where is the student right now? What kinds of activities is the student doing? What have they observed? Uh, all of that is very important to the bigger picture and helps provide information to the group so that we can make better decisions.
I think that's really helpful to hear that. So it sounds like everybody's there for a reason, as you said, and we should trust the process and trust our expertise. Maybe there may be some listening into this conversation we're having that might say, "Well, that's great for those who have regular contact with the student. I don't have regular contact with this particular student, or maybe I don't feel like my contribution is going to be very lengthy." So I guess my question, does my contact with the student have to be long to be meaningful, or even the ARC meeting itself, does it have to be long to be meaningful?
No to both questions. Sometimes my favorite anecdotes are from a teacher who has very little contact with the student, but they can give an anecdote that sometimes is positive, and that goes towards relationship building with the parent. Sometimes what they have to say is important. For example, a regular education student or a regular education teacher might have very limited contact with a student, but that teacher may make an observation about how the student is doing in that environment. How is that student behaving in gym class? How does that student respond to music or a class like that? And those types of anecdotal comments can be very important when we make a decision about something such as placement.
That's really helpful to hear. So the last thing I'd want to ask Dana is this: that oftentimes when we are involved in meetings that are contentious, we might feel like the meeting is not being very progressive, or it really maybe pushes against the heart of what we're talking about today, keeping the conversation meaningful. So, can you offer us some strategies that you think could be helpful to ensure that there's meaningful input taking place during an ARC?
I think one thing you can do is make sure that you acknowledge when there is consensus along the way. Sometimes we have agreement, and everybody seems to be in agreement on some of the smaller points at the beginning of a meeting. Talking about that can be helpful when we reach a more important and larger decision at the end that may be more contentious, and recognizing, oh, actually, we all agree on a lot of points. And we actually are coming together as a group and making some of these smaller decisions. That can be helpful. Another thing you can do is take a break during the meeting. Sometimes these meetings are very long. Sometimes it's helpful just to take a quick break and then say, maybe when we come back, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. And that helps people formulate in their mind, oh, okay, that's something that I might have something to say about. So those are a couple of strategies that I would recommend, again, to try to encourage district staff to give their input. Just remember that many times we don't have that many meetings going on throughout the school year. This is an important time for you to give input about what you're observing so that we can document that in the ARC report as well.
Dana Collins, I want to thank you for joining us today. What a great resource you are to the district. I want to thank you for your time. I want to encourage those who are listening or watching this recording to reach out to Dana. If you've got questions, I'm confident she'll be helped to support you as you support the families and the students that you serve. There's a resource that we would encourage you to check out, Supporting the IEP Process, a Facilitator's Guide. I think it's a valuable, very quick read with lots of good information within it to help support you as you lead these processes. So Dana, thank you very much.
Thank you.